I don't know if Rose will hear this or ever watch it or anything, but it's actually, even though we've been through so much, Rose, it's actually good to talk and kind of laugh with you at different things. Um, it's also good that you can go from being upset to just sort of, being willing to pull up Kathy on the Survivor show. So you might harbor feelings that are negative like a lot of us do, but you can quickly kind of change the topic even, and you laugh in 1 minute and upset the next. And not everybody can do that. And that's actually a good thing, right? An admirable thing. But I just want to say that, literally, I have to keep my stress levels so low that I could only ride my bike up the hill to my cardiac rehab, 5 times. So it's 3 miles up to the darn place near the hospital, and I filmed it on one of my little lives with my camera or my iPad, or no, the tablet attached to this Google Neck, whatever thing it's called, to my bike, and I filmed my trip up there. And it's uphill, so of course it's all downhill coming back. But when I got there, I had to sit on a machine for 20 minutes, and then I had to sit on another machine or stand, do the walking thing, for 25. And it turned out to be a total of 9 point something miles with my biking. And so nearly 10. And I was like, oh my God. It's all good, and I could handle it, but I could handle it better if it was once a week, and you have to do at least 2 times a week. And if you can, you do 3 times a week. Now, the people that just hop in their car and go up there, shoot, they can do 3 times a week. But anyway, I don't even know if you know, Rose, or well, a few people know, but I quit. I quit after 5 times. I called him up and I said, it's too much. It's too much stress on me. This was when was this? This was nearish, I believe. It was sometime in July, and I had to go until like July 15th or 13th or something. Or August, 13th. So I had another good, I don't know what, 6 weeks or something to go. And I didn't look at myself as a quitter. I looked at myself as really trying and doing more to get up there and back than many people, right? People hop in their cars. And I don't drive. I don't have a license. I have 2, whatchamacallits? What are they called? Permits. So, yeah. So when my son was 4 and I was learning how to drive a Jeep, because that's what the lady at the church had and was teaching me, that's what I was learning in. But I just didn't feel like I had enough parking lessons in. So, there you go. And then I moved to Iowa and lived with my sister shortly after the second permit. And then I just said, forget this. I don't even want to do this again. Take the test a 3rd time and take lessons. And I just, and now I see, with all the maintenance of a car and gas for a car, and, it's $5-6 over here per gallon. And so anyway, yeah. So, but what I want to say about Lizzo is that, I've always liked her, and I know that, if she and I fought or put each other down or anything, hi there, I wouldn't be friends with her, or Sierra and I. or anybody. But, you know, and in a way, that's why it's different with you, Rose, because we really had it out with each other. I mean, we really, really did. You did with me, I did with you. It was just a complete, utter shit shows, whatever you want to call it, for weeks. And, but you know, I returned the shirt, and that's what you wanted, and I felt like you had sort of, you know, forgiven me. But like you said, everything's going to take time. Well, a good year's gone by now, and you know, we're still not back to where we were, and probably never will be, because you don't trust me, and I don't 1,000% trust you. Like I don't. I can't. Just like you feel with me. You think that I'm in cahoots, possibly, maybe, even slightly, with Mission and I don't know if you mentioned Lionel, but anyway, other people, and I'm not. I'm not at all. In fact, for me to be even watching your channel tonight on a Friday when I'm supposed to be watching Survivor, we're on Survivor 3. We started from the beginning. And, well, no, we started with 4 because my daughter hadn't seen it. And then I was like, oh, this is so much fun. Let's just watch them all. So we've been watching them all. And now we're on 3 where they're, you know, in Africa. But she rode her e-scooter to the beach and got quite a bit of sun, even though she sprayed herself down really well. My daughter, she's 21. And she was tired. We watched a good hour, and she said, Mom, can we just watch some more tomorrow? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. I said, I know that feeling of being tired or burnt out or whatever. And she's seen the African episode. And then we saw 4 together, right? And we saw 1 and 2. So, you know, we'll finish this one out. And it's just kind of fun because I've heard of Survivor, right? And it's clear back in the 2000s, but I've never watched an entire episode. And the first one I saw had Rose's, I believe anyway, her I almost said gopple. Anyway, her doppelganger. Yeah. Now I have my contacts in right now, so I can barely read chat. It's a song about me. Raiders in here, I think. Mary Jane Doe, I think Gia's in here. So I didn't even see Gia's questions until the very end when she said it again over on Rose's. Do I support Lizzo? Do I support anyone in hurting someone? What do we call it? Bashing, maybe defaming. I don't know what all the truth is about Lizzo's life, or even Rose's for that matter, because I've never met them. And the problem with YouTube is one person can say one thing, and if 10 believe it, then the next day it's 20 believe it, then 30, then 40. You know, the fact I can even come in to Rose's chat is nice, and it's kind of a relief, because back when she and I were fighting about my mom's, you know, situation, or before it became a situation, I could not hardly be in there. I would be literally attacked. And there were times that Rose said, you know, just let her speak, or leave her alone, or she's my friend now, and don't come in between us, and would stick up for me. But there's been other times that hasn't been done. Okay, I have not been stuck up for, and I have been allowed to be ridiculed. And the thing is, Rose is going through exactly what I went through with Maria G. Maria G was Rose's head mod, while Rose, for lack of a better word, was bashing me. And then I would turn around and bash. And I actually, after some of it, I messaged Maria G and I said, Maria G, how can you profess to be such a good friend of mine, right? Which is how Rose is feeling about me, right? And the Lizzo thing. And then, you know, just be a head mod in her chat, even a head mod of Rose bashing me. How can you really be like a friend of mine? I said, I am not telling you who to choose, but think about this, or something like that. And she did, and she stayed. She stayed with Rose. She modded for Rose. And the thing is, unless you're a creator yourself and you go through bullying, like I have, like Rose has, like Lizzo is going through, like Sierra felt like she went through in the past. And some of us, it's worse than others, right? And there's more people than that. Mission, just whatever. We all go through our own being slandered and being this and being that without any proof of what an email says or a post or a comment or a group chat or a whatever, right? Then you are not able to really even forgive. But you know, Maria G and I talked, and I was like, look, I get it. I do get it. I don't really like it, right? But I get it. And because I knew Maria G, she's loyal. She's a loyal friend. And so it doesn't even surprise me when a few months later she became, after her bout with Rose, back and forth about her daughter and this and that and the other thing, that she even modded for her again and was being a friend. It does not surprise me because that's Maria G's heart and her loyalty. And frankly, that's mine. Now, Rose is probably thinking, oh, PCT has no loyalty to me because she's siding with Mission. And I know she's siding with Mission because she lets him in her chat. And she's siding with Lizzo. You guys, I'm not siding with absolutely anybody. Anybody. Okay, I'm walking down the hall because I need to get into my room. My son fell asleep and his music's pretty loud, but I have to get the charger. So, oh shoot, and I'll probably get in trouble on YouTube, so let me get in here. I'm not siding with anybody. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but people think if you don't stick up for them, you're siding with them. No, okay? I know the fighting with her and Lizzo, I believe, started when Rose was riding in her car, didn't like something Lizzo said or whatever, said something to Lizzo. I mean, this is really the truth. Yeah, I believe that, Mary Jane Doe. And then her daughter jumped in because I saw all of this with my own eyes in Rose's chat and said, don't talk to my mother like that. And then Rose lit in, and I mean lit in, to her daughter. Now, I don't know how old her daughter is, Lizzo's daughter, and I don't know which one. I think her name is Beth, right? Because I think Rose said that months and months ago. And then Lizzo was fighting with Rose, and then Rose was fighting with Beth and Lizzo, and then apparently Beth apologized, and I don't know if Lizzo ever did for what she said, but it just went on and on, equally between Lizzo and Rose, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then Lizzo, you know, she stopped just YouTube altogether for a couple of months. Rose did too. And I don't even know what started it up again. But I cannot get involved, and I won't. I won't. Till the day I die, if Rose thinks that, I don't want to be her friend and say hi in a chat or come up on panel and shoot the shit and and talk about her life, not mine, on the panel. Usually when I'm up on Rose's panel, I'm asked questions. So, I mean, I'm asked these questions, and so I answer them when I'm up there. So I don't feel like I take over her lives. I'm asked questions, and I don't want to take over people's lives. And in fact, I did a live the other night. I don't even go on anyone's panel. The last panel I was on was back in, I think it was really early summer or spring. And it was Leanie's, because I said hello to her and Maggie, and they were ignoring me. It turns out they never saw what I was saying. And I honestly thought they were both upset with me for not visiting the channel or even coming in and saying hi. All right, I got to go to bed now. I really did. And I got all emotional, and I went up, and I was sobbing. And so I can go weeks and even months without crying. Like, I haven't cried over my mother in weeks because I won't let myself get there, because I'm afraid it'll put some stress on my heart. Because when I had my last stress-induced heart attack, I was cry slash not yelling, not fighting on Rose, but just like, yes, yes, you're right. I didn't realize that my mom probably really was dying in a way at the age of 80. Was she 81 then, or 82? No, she passed at 82, at the age of 81. And because I couldn't get over there, and I couldn't change my ticket a third time, and yes, I did go down south, to Virginia, and I have no damn regrets about that. I wasn't able to see her, but she and I thought that we'd have more time. She didn't know she had stomach cancer for months and months. I don't know how on earth Mayo Clinic can't, one of the best hospitals like in the world, can't, I don't know, like, didn't they draw her blood and check her T cells or whatever they are? And apparently not. So when she couldn't eat or keep food down like the year before, she was probably slowly getting stomach cancer. But she got sent home with her little stress-induced heart attack. And then when she got home, she had, she had a small stroke, and then she had a stress-induced heart attack. So we thought we had more time. And like I said, the next year after I went, or the year before I went down south, she did. She had a lady coming from Chicago and a couple from Vermont to visit. And she said, this is not a good summer. Are you okay with that? She felt kind of bad. And I said, yeah, So I took my trip, and she had her friends come up, and then boom. I mean, I thought my mom honestly was going to live to be in her 90s. Both of my grandparents, on my mom and dad's side, except my mom's dad died in his early 80s from pancreatic cancer. But both of my grandmas, my mom's mom lived to be 90, I think it was 94. And then my dad's mom lived to be 93, and my dad's dad lived to be 96. And my mom has always, she's not a drinker, she's not a smoker. She might have had a glass of wine with some spaghetti now and then when she lived in New York, she said. Um, Not bragging here, but she ran a marathon when she was 40. It was 10 miles, and she did really good. Um, I can't, I would know, so I don't necessarily think she placed first in her age group, but she might have. That's the thing. So she was really into, and that was in Vermont, into her health and everything. And you just don't know what's going to happen, how frail you're going to become. And yeah, and so the C disease she didn't get, but her husband had it back in 2020, and I was worried sick. Um, and Anyway, so this whole thing with, I mean, I'm just talking. I'm talking from my heart, and I'm saying that people say, and I did a live, or I stated this. I didn't do a live on it. I stated this. People say, oh, I'm not gonna tell Maria G who she can be friends with. Okay, but Rose, you're telling me who I can associate with. And the thing is, Maria G, think about it, is friends with I'm Martin, and you still let her mod in your chat. You're still sort of friends with her. You probably talk to her on Messenger. Now, you could say, well, the fighting isn't as bad with I'm Martin ever as it is with Lizzo, but that's not the point. We can't be YouTubers and say, I'm not going to tell you who to be friends with, but okay, and this is the thing. Mission didn't come into my chat for like months and months and months, and I think he did a few months ago. I'm Martin has been coming in a little more often than before. Lionel never ever does, and it was New Year's last time I saw him, kind of down to his skivvies, and you know, uh, and as far as Lizzo goes, she's in my messenger, and she's a sweet gal to me, and I am to her, and I can't fight other people's battles. But if you notice, I'm not siding with anyone. If you notice, um, Max Smith, okay, seems like a very nice, noble man. He will come in, he has, not all the time, he'll say good job or whatever, and other times he'll, bring up Koberger or whatever. But then the last time he spoke, or close to it, he said, well, Lizzo is really hurting Rose by doing this. And I felt like he was even inadvertently trying to pull me in to the drama. And guess what I did? Nothing, because that's what I do. Okay? I didn't even heart his comment. You can go look. If I heart his comment, that means I agree with it. Okay? I don't have to have a horse in every horse race. It's better than a dog in a dog fight. I don't, you guys. And I don't want to. But the thing is, I can't. Okay? I mean, I can't. I go through so much here with my son's issues. We just had to up his antipsychotic again today. He wanted it upped. He wanted to wait till we have the appointment with the psychiatrist on the phone, because we do telemed. I said, we don't need to wait. You've been on a higher dose than this before, so it's not anything new. And also, his psychiatrist is very used to him going up a little, down a little, and tweaking the doses. And we let him know, honestly. And I jot it down on the calendar. I'm like, okay, he's been on this now for a week or whatever. So I'm dealing with, someone that is afraid of nearly everything, but he did ride his bike to his doctor's appointment because the sort of funny story I wanted to tell that's very brief on roses, just to kind of lighten things up, is he hasn't been able to hear out of one ear. And every day I ask him, "Are you sure you can't hear out of it at all?" Like, not at all. Because I went through that in 1994 and had to have my ear irrigated. I pushed wax or something down there because I used to use Q-tips. I don't anymore. So anyway, we go, and this doctor, Dr. Suh, S-U-H, I don't know if he's Vietnamese or what. He was super nice, very professional, looks in his ear and says, "I see wax." All right, so I see wax. And then he says, "I need to get a curate and take that out." So we think he's just going to do that. Then he looks in the other ear and he's like, "I see lots of wax." And Parker likes to have me in the room, and plus, when they ask what meds he's on and they ask like the amount he's taking, I remember. He just can't remember the dates, the times, the days, sometimes the month. When a month goes by, he says things like, "Well, it's been 6 months since I've talked to my dad," stuff like that. So the way he kind of talks and comes across, it's not accurate at the doctor's office. So the guy uses the curator. He sticks this pointy thing in my son's both of his ears now. Okay, one he can't hear out of, but the eardrums are totally covered up on both ears with wax. I mean, he was kind of laughing. He was like, "Oh boy." And I was laughing. I was giggling. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So it didn't work. He still couldn't see the eardrum. So, and wax was coming out. I saw it. I thought wax would be yellowish white or gray, or I don't know. It was kind of brown, whatever. So anyway, puts this wax on the cotton thing, uh and so then he's like, we're like, "Are you going to irrigate it?" And he goes, "Yes, we're going to do we're going to irrigate it." So Parker has to hold this cup below his ear. And Dr. Suh came in, and this is a doctor my son's never seen before. He usually has a lady doctor, but she wasn't available. And anyway, guess what? It didn't work. It did not work. Now, it worked a little. They were like, "Oh, we see some wax coming out." Wax was coming out with this peroxide mixed with very warm water that they were flushing through my son's ear. They did it 3 times on one side, 2 on the other, and when they were about to do it a 4th time to see if they could get the wax was that hard. Now, it might sound all gross and everything, but we all have wax in our ears. Apparently, some of us have more. And I'm wondering if it's because he wears earbuds, right? And that can push the wax down in. So he's probably going to get earbuds that wrap, I guess, on the outside of the ear. But we have to get special medicine now that melts the darn wax. And so tomorrow I got to ride my bike up the darn hill. Parker said he'll come with me. We're going to pick up his medicine and put these drops in his ears. Both ears, that's the funny thing about it. He couldn't hear out of one ear. Both ears are clogged, like practically equal amounts. And we have to put these drops in and go back, have it irrigated again in 1 week, this coming Friday. So my glasses broke. The little screw came out of the corner. So we went down about a block from the doctor's, and I went into Eyes on Fremont, this really cool place where I got my glasses. I didn't have an appointment. I just said my glasses broke. I do put them on top of my head now and then. I told her when she handed them to me. In less than 5 minutes, a decent long screw was put in. I asked for more little cloths, to clean them with. And yeah, and we left. And then we went the other direction and got some darn ice cream because it was 88 in different parts of Washington today. And I think today it was only about 84 or 85. But now it's like a big ordeal. And Parker likes to stay up late, but if he takes a melatonin, he gets to sleep. So he took one. We were both dead tired at 9 in the morning, and we had to leave by quarter to 10 on our bikes. And it's a good thing we went. So that was my story, and it wouldn't have been this long. I would have just, if I was on Rose's, I would have just said, yeah, my son couldn't hear out of one of his ears, and it turns out both ears are clogged. Irrigation didn't even work. Because in 1994, you guys, I don't know, it wasn't this pumping thing. It was like a shh, and boom, the wax was out. So don't use Q-tips. You're not supposed to anyway. If you Google it, it says not to. And yeah. So I don't know, you guys. I can't do it. I can't get stressed out. I don't even have pictures out of my mother. I don't. Because that means every morning when I wake up, I'll see her face and I'll get emotional. And crying is good for you and it's cathartic, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid to like bawl over anything anymore. Worries, finances. If our president takes our SSI, food stamps going down, whatever. I literally live day by day like I'm supposed to, like literally. And the kids will be worried, and I'll be like, well, things are always changing and evolving. Know that. And the other thing I know is that 90% of anything I've ever worried about, and Rose can probably attest to this too, never happens. Never happens. 90%. Doesn't matter what it is. So I can't do it. But I am not going to turn around and discipline Lizzo or reprimand Lizzo or Mission or Lionel. And when you have your times with Lionel, Rose, I'm not gonna do it. First of all, who am I? I'm just a YouTuber that doesn't I talk about different things, um, and I'm not even like a set anything. I just say hi to my friends. Just like Rose, I don't get paid. I don't even put my Cash App and PayPal up anymore. And I haven't for months. And on this YouTube Live, instead of StreamYard, you can't. I mean, a mod could type it in chat, but and Mary Jane Doe, she's my head mod. I'm not gonna say, oh, you and Rose are having problems, so I don't think I can trust you. You can't be a mod. That's not me. Okay, I have more integrity than that. I can tell you that. And that brings me to what Lizzo typed in when I was crying the other night, Rose, which apparently you didn't see. I felt touched and pretty happy that at the end of your thing you said, I've been thinking about you. And then I typed back when I brought up the doppelgang, or no, I said I liked your cherry sap tree video. It was very enlightening. It was pretty the way the sap was flickering in the sunlight on the camera. But Um, and then I typed back and said, I've been thinking about you too, truly. And for one, I know you're always on YouTube. And for two, before I knew I was allowed to chat, even in a chat without paying money, I saw you on YouTube and saw you dancing and saw your beautiful, colorful knit hat that I believe one of your daughters made for you. I don't think it was bought, it's sent to you, and you were wearing it. And so you were very different on YouTube. You weren't going after all the true crime. You were just being you and showing other people things that they maybe haven't seen, like dancing up close, whether it's with your feet or legs, I mean, that, I don't know, like, it's because I'm older, I'm older, so I appreciate knowing that women in their 60s can have some nice muscle to their lower leg from dancing. You're fit. You're fit too. I mean, I'm fairly fit. I don't think I'm as strong as an ox. In September, I have to go to whatchamacallit. I got to see Dr. Yee, and they're going to give me I don't know, an MRI, a CAT scan, something to check my heart to see if it's fully, if the ejection fraction is 60, because like I've said before, that's a perfect heart. I don't expect it to be perfect though, but if it's 55, I'll be really happy. Now apparently it was 40% when I had my stroke, and when I had my uh, or no, now is it 75? Because it was 60 once and 40. No, 60 isn't perfect. 75 is. And it was 40 when I had my stroke, as far as pumping and whatnot, and 60 when I had my stress-induced heart attack. And then I asked them, well, what was it the previous months when I was on the machine, the stress test machine, which I'd never done before, and that was in December. So December, January, February, March, 3 months before. And like I said before, they didn't have it because it was through the hospital, not through the cardiology office part. And I was like, oh. So my point is, I feel pretty good, but my meds make me tired, and they're supposed to. It might be the Metropolol. It's, even though I have to break the pill in half, makes me kind of tired. The Jardiance might be the one giving me a headache. I wake up with a headache every morning. It's not a migraine, and it's not like my pillows, and it's not anything like that. I really think it's one of those. But I'm doing what the doctors say to do because I really fought being on heart medicine for 4 years when I took red yeast rice, supplement, which, by the way, if it doesn't run in your family, it's not all hereditary, it works like a statin. And my nurse's husband took it. But for me, it didn't work. It didn't lower my cholesterol enough. I still had, 2 weeks later, after getting a good bill of health, all the smiley faces with smiles, covering my paper, 2 weeks later is when I had my stroke. So you can't mess around with this stuff. And because I don't, I mean, if I was invited up, or if she said, sure, PCT hasn't been up on my panel in a while. Yeah, let her explain the 282 or 285. That, you guys, I think, because of the number amount with the 80s and the 200, and I hope I'm right on this because I don't want Truth Seeker Well, people knew Ernie Shell was up on panel. Weren't we doing it, Rose, on your panel? I think we were. We were trying to help Truth Seeker. Remember that? And then people sent the money to my Cash App or PayPal or whatever it was. And then, no, I did not flippin' fucking keep it. That's ridiculous. I got Truth Seeker's Cash App or PayPal and we sent it to her because she needed it. She needed it for her electric bill or her part of her rent. I think it was an electric bill that was really behind and she was in tears. And Ernie Shell, I believe this was on Rose's Live. Ernie Shell was up there. I was up there. Not sure, Raider, if you were, but one other person was. Maybe two other. And we all chipped in. I think I chipped in 50 because I know what it's like to struggle. And I had gotten some money from my trust fund. And then we were like, well, how do we get it to her? And why it wasn't just sent directly to Truth Seeker, now I can't remember, but these Cash Apps and PayPals were sent to me. I added them up. Ernie Shell added them up. Truth Seeker was adding in her mind, and when I told her the amount, she said, yes, that's what I have. And I remember it was under 300, but over 200. So this 282 makes sense. I really believe, and this is what I mean, you guys, people twist things and make up their own narratives for shit. And unless you have a turtle shell like me, even though I'm not a turtle anymore, and a bite like me, because I was a tiger once, and you're older, and you really know yourself, you know who you are, you're not smoking pot to feel a different way 1 minute and being nice and mellow 1 minute, or getting drunk 1 minute and love bombing and schmoozing people, and then they see your true colors when you're hungover or sober. I'm sober, and I have been now. It'll be 15 years in September, and I'm damn proud of it. I haven't been to AA in months because when I was doing cardiac rehab, I couldn't get there. The times were the same. I could be going now, but I'm just a little bit drained. I have so much going on here that, I mean, I wasn't planning on doing a live tonight. I was going to watch Survivor and then go to bed. But I thought, no, I'll peek over at Team Rose, see if she's on tonight. She was. And I'm listening on 2 times the speed, and there's my name, Lizzo and PCT. And Lizzo says this about PCT, and PCT said this about Lizzo, and Rose is saying Lizzo said this about PCT, and Lizzo is saying Rose said this about PCT, and PCT never liked you, and this and that and the other thing. I don't even care. Wild Angel didn't like me either for the longest time, and we're good friends now. I mean, she's constantly sending me little quotes, like actually nearly every day in Messenger, and we used to talk more. I used to do a lot more, you guys, on YouTube and in chats, in other people's programs. And I really wanted to get up and sing again on Tattooed Angels. But I can't do it all. And so because I can't be everywhere and do everything, I don't do any of it anymore. I really don't. So for me to even hop into Rose's chat, I mean, it's been months. It's been months since I've been in there. I think I've been in there one time since I had the stress-induced heart attack. Yeah. And yeah, I don't think I asked to come up on panel. I think Rose just said, yeah, I'd invite you up, but the time before that, a year ago or so, I did ask, and I was almost begging, and I wasn't allowed up. And then Now I wasn't allowed up. So, I mean, it's okay, but I'm not going to ask anymore. I thought because there was this, do you want to explain yourself? Someone's saying there's an email that you kept this money. And I'm telling you right now, I hate typing. I hate it. This is why I've always left voice messages. Um, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. This is why I have a flip phone too. So it would be easier for me to just come up and go, Rose, I think that 282 was the truth seeker thing. And then I'd ask her, I'd say, wasn't it on your live? Do you remember that night? Truth seeker was crying. And then Rose would say, I don't remember that at all. Or she'd say, yeah, I think you're right. And then we'd talk about it. But at first, I think Rose didn't want me up because first it was that she was kind of tired and overwhelmed and kind of felt like crying, she said, and she's been through too much or something. Then it changed into um, uh, I I don't want to do this because you're going to make it about you, and you're just going to talk about you, and I need to talk about these things. And then it turned into, you must not care, Tina. You don't care about my feelings. You don't care. Well, yeah, I do. I wanted to come up and empathize. I'm not going to side with people, and I would not going up on people's panels, anybody's, and going, yeah, Lizzo shouldn't have said this, but she was right about saying that, or her feelings are valid about this, Rose, but I think this was a little too much. Or the same with you. I'm not getting involved. I'm not. And if that's not being a good friend, Rose, not getting involved and not siding and trying to have peace with everybody that hasn't hurt me and the ones that have hurt me in the past, um, us both apologizing. Sherry apologized to me. I apologized to her. Um, I mean, I can go to bed at night and I can look at myself in the mirror and feel okay. But I know how easy it is to feel like you need to defend yourself. And if you defend yourself once and you don't do it the second, third, fourth, 18th, or 25th time, right? Ooh, there must be some truth. That person that's saying those things, and they can be anything, defamation of character, slander, doesn't matter. People will believe, and it only takes one to start a mob mentality. You feel like you have to keep defending. I've even told Lizzo, just stop. Just don't. You'd be better off. You don't want another heart attack. You don't want a stroke. Just don't. No matter what's said about you by who. Now I'm seeing, and I don't know where these people are from, like Gia and stuff, but now I'm seeing it's not even just Rose. It's half the people almost. I don't know, maybe not. I had my contacts in. I could be wrong. At least um, a quarter of her chat is against Lizzo now. And you guys, we don't have to side with people and be mean to other creators and other people in chats just because we venture out and are regulars or even loyal friends to that said creator. Who says we have to? That's mob mentality. And that's going to be in part of my title tonight because I've been through this. Okay, I went through this with Ernie Shell and all his tigers. I went through this with PJ and the Dolly thing, and did I fly to Virginia? Oh yeah, she did. Even Maria G says she did. Oh well, Maria G paid for her ticket, her plane ticket. She grifts for everything. When no, I paid for my ticket, and it goes on and on and on. And people want to pick at my brain and pick at my life and expect me
to uh, say what they want to hear to disrupt Jimmy's life. Okay? I'm not like other women in his life that just get pissed off at the slightest damn thing. That's ridiculous. And I told him that. I said, you never have to worry about me. And then I have been through, you know, the fighting with Rose and fighting with other people in her chat that, uh, you know, used to be kind to me. And and there's been more than that. I mean, there's been more than that. Now I can't even. Oh, the thing with Wild Angel way back. Oh, and let's not forget Mel, Mel's Pandora, whoever she is these days. Her getting all her minions against me, and yes, Rose stuck up for me and Maria G. Now, after the way everything's evolved and happened, am I going to really think that Rose will feel totally the way she did with me in the past? No, no, because she saw that I can bite back too. She saw that I will stick up for myself. She saw that I was so freaked out and so didn't know how the fighting would stop unless I called the damn police, and I knew no one would believe me, so I did it on air. Okay, was it wrong? Is it wrong to call the police on someone? Yes, but I didn't send them to like do anything. I asked them if they'd call her. It's on my live. Would you just call her and tell her to stop? She's talking about my ex. She's wanting to get my ex, up on her panel. Um, and he drinks a lot, so God knows what he'd even say. He can't even remember facts anymore. Like he can't. It's so bizarre. It's almost a little scary. So I have nothing to hide. I just don't want my ex lying about me. Um, and so anyway, the guy said, "Well, what's her number?" And I didn't know it. I might have said, "I think I might know what one of her, Airbnbs are," but so I think he might have called right then and there. But the point is, it had to stop. It was all day and frickin' all night for 2 weeks. And I was constantly defending myself and defending my mother and defending my relationship with my father. My father got pulled into it. Everything. And it was the thing with Rose and I was much worse than Ernie Shell. I mean, he's just someone I admired and liked his programs and liked the fact that he was so daring and a past, bounty hunter and would go out there and get himself in predicaments. And he was just a really neat person from down south. And, but yeah, I mean, what was that? 8 months worth of being a tiger? And then he came up on Queen Bees and told me to remove, or what did he say? Remove your lightning bolt or stripe or whatever he said. I mean, I didn't even and my face was showing, and I didn't blush. I didn't go, "Oh, you can't do this to me." I just said, "Okay." And I did. But then all the tigers were coming after me, and I'm not going to say names, but I had people. Okay, I had a woman that I had in Messenger that was calling me relentlessly one evening to get her point across. She wouldn't just type it and leave it. She expected an answer back immediately. It was feeling cultish. And I just I I blocked her is what I did. I had to. It was out of control. And um you know, and then that whole thing came up with what's his face, X Morbid, or I mean Morbid X, you know, and all I said to Ernie was, well, I don't have any proof he's a the letter P. I'm not gonna assume this to be true, and Ernie didn't like that. I think he called me foolish and open your eyes and you don't belong with us and this and that, and it was all too weird. So all I'm in this long, I'm not even looking at chat, you guys. I'm laying on my back in my leggings and my bra because it's hot with my avatar on, and I'm speaking my mind because I mean, even though it went pretty well in Rose's chat and I wasn't attacked by everybody and only actually 2 or 3 people, um, I this is why I don't really like going into anybody's chats anymore. I mean, I can't. Rose doesn't even trust me. She thinks I'm in a line, even possibly. Just to mention it on her live that I might be even. I mean, that's just, it's not even my character. I don't even have sock accounts. I don't do that shit. I don't have time. And you know what? I don't have the physical with for all to do it anymore. Those days are over. They are. Um, you know, and even though Rose and I are the same age, and she has her own ailments, and I've had my ailments, they're very different. Okay, it's autoimmune disease thing that I think Rose has, right? And then the arthritis or something is very different from the pumping of your heart, blood getting through, and a stroke, a clot in your brain the size of an M&M on my thalamus. I mean, it's kind of damn scary. And I'm extremely blessed. And I'm doing pretty well, you know? But it's still a little scary. So I can't get involved, Rose. Why can't you just let me be friends with you? Let me be friends with who I want to be. And it doesn't mean everybody's talking about you behind your back. It doesn't mean because other people are talking about you behind your back or you're talking about them on your show or behind their back, which if you are, I don't know if you do to Maria G. I don't even know if you and Maria G are on Messenger together. That's how uninvolved I am. I have not, since our falling out, asked Maria G, oh, do you message Rose? Are you in Messenger with her? I used to be. No, no. I mean, it's just, so why can't people just be okay? For one reason, all the damn pot out there and alcohol that people consume, it alters your feelings in your brain. Marijuana changes the brain. There's a book out there called, where is it? It's in my closet. Something to do with changes of the brain. And I'm going to get it and read about marijuana. All those people that think it's so perfectly fine to smoke this stuff, because it's not. Okay? Change your brain, change your life. It's by Daniel G. Amen, and he's a doctor. And they show scans of the brain of people. Amen is AMEN. Change your brain, change your life. The breakthrough program for conquering anxiety, depression, obsessiveness, anger, and impulsiveness. And it shows brain scans of people that are schizophrenic, people that have smoked marijuana for years, people that drink. There's literal holes. There's like holes in the skin. It changes the brain, you guys. And I smoked that stuff in my 20s. ADHD, um, OCD affected brain looks very different than a normal brain. And that's my son. You know, the little ganglia up at the top, way up at the top of the head, in the middle, above the forehead, um, puts off more worry hormone. It's a hormonal dang thing. Yeah. Hi everybody. Boy, I'm just rambling and I have 20 in the on the whale boats and I've been on an hour. So I'm going to look back, see everyone that came in to say hi and that gives a damn about what I have to say about cyberbullying, slandering, defamation of character, insulting, outright bullying, or anything on the internet. Thank you for everyone being here. Please hit the like if you think anything I've said makes sense. And please subscribe to me if you're willing to. You know, my goal is, my goal is 4,000, but it's a few hundred away yet. But anyway, it takes two to fight. It takes one to stop it. Okay, if there's two fighting or even dancing together, it takes one to step out. Right, Rose? It just does. So now you know how I feel. And yeah, if you ever come into my chat, and it sounds like you don't really want to, although last time when you did, you said you were treated okay and you were surprised. That would be nice, you know? It gives me a glimpse of that you're thinking about me or whatever, or you give a crap about my channel or whatever. I can't do the same for everybody out there anymore. You can ask Sierra. I haven't been in her chat even, or even gone over to say a quick hello in months, because then Wild Angel will wonder, well, why don't you ever come over here? Or Rebel, or Wild Angel still wants to do a stream yard with me at night. I thought I was going to have game night every weekend night. But it's just not happening. And I have to keep life as simple as I can. I don't believe in timing out and blocking and all that, just like you, Rose. So when people are bashing you in my chat ever, I'm not going to time them out and I'm not going to block them. But if it's horrible stuff, like calling you names, like, you know, you're fat, eat too many grilled cheese, or, you know, mean things like that, which, if you're so against people calling you fat and you don't like it being people doing that, that's one thing I will say. Since I'm just talking about all this, don't say that. Don't say that about people. That Lizzo or anyone is very hurtful. I've weighed more than this before. At the most, I've been 145 pounds. And that was from drinking beer and eating sub sandwiches and all that in my, well, the drinking age was 18 and I was drinking at 16. So early, I'd say, no, that I weighed that when I married Joe the first time in 1986. And I hated myself. And then he left and he went to Okinawa. And I drank tea instead of milk. And we just had whole milk back then. And I think it's called the Scarborough or whatever diet that was. And you get fruit 1 day a week. You can eat a whole huge 10 pounds of fruit salad if you want, but you're you know, you're stomach gets smaller or something. You can't eat it anyway. And I was 125 when I got on the plane and went to Okinawa, and I have pictures of that. So it's so hurtful, especially to women and probably men too. But uh, I really think with all this mob mentality, you guys, this is the internet, out there forever, unless stuff's privated. And by the way, I don't private, I don't take down videos. I'm sick and tired of people saying I'm doing, someone said I did a bashing live on Rose and took it down. And I heard her say that in her live, and that's when I jumped in her chat after her cherry sap video and said, this is a really nice video, very enlightening, saying hello, but I also want you to know I did not do a live on you and I did not take it down. And then she responded and said, oh, wow, thanks for letting me know. There's a lot of crazy people out there, this and that. She wrote this big, long thing and then ended it with, I've been thinking about you. So, you know, so instead of just giving her a heart, I wrote back, said, I've been thinking about you too. And you have a doppelganger out there and blah, blah, blah. Check it out if you can. And then I didn't hear from her, but then I did. And I heard things from the past, the $200 thing and the this and the that and the this. And was she ever really sorry? That really got to me. I don't know if she really apologized, Rose said on her live, but maybe she did. So at least she said that, right? Maybe she did. That made me feel better. But because she had written so much to me like old times, I did a live, Rose. I did a live. You should see it. Do it for me. Watch it in the confines of your own home and listen to my heart. Because honestly, I started crying in the middle of that too. Because in one breath, you say you're thinking about me, kind of like, gee, maybe we could talk a little more. Then I jump in your chat for the first time in, I don't know, try months. And then I'm being talked about and being accused from supposedly all these other people that are trolling you now, which I have no proof of any of it. That's why I typed an email doesn't make it true. I mean, people photocopy shit and everything these days. I don't believe anything. And then you still wouldn't let me up, and that's okay. But you got kind of mad, and instead of just sticking to the, I'm kind of tired, I don't think I want you to come up, you could have said, you know, maybe in the near future, but I've been on a while, not, well, you're going to try to make this about you and blah, 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 and then say, wait, you could be in on this. You could be in on something with Mission and Lizzo and try to come up and just try to take me down. Is that what I think those were the words you said. Take me down. Make me feel worse. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you don't have some trust in people that have actually, yes, apologized to you on your live, in your chat, not on Messenger because we're not on that anymore together. I mean, I returned your shirt. I don't, you know, how much more apologizing do I have to do? And on my live the other night, I said, I've done all I can. And I got some nice responses. Barbara Smith, Lolsey, Lizzo, Maria G, and Mary Jane Doe. And I don't think I left anybody out. All just kind of said, you know, there's probably no amount of apologizing to Rose you can do. This is who she is. She may not really ever want to be your friend again, whatever. And so we're to acceptance, right? I'm at acceptance. And it's pretty cathartic for me to leave this message. I really hope Rose hears it or parts of it. Um, but yeah, I don't know what else to say, but the mob mentality is dangerous. It's dangerous. And when Rose said, "Oh, Tina believed Sippy when she said she was going to kill herself because of me," I don't know what to believe. I simply saw Sippy type it in your chat. I saw it. She was like, "I was thinking of killing myself and this and that and the other thing." And you responded and said, "Oh, no, I never told you to kill yourself." And do you know what I mean? So I mean, unless that wasn't her, but you thought it was her, I mean, I guess it could have been a troll. I don't know. I don't think it was, though, and you certainly didn't, and it sure didn't sound like it. Not at all. And other people in your chat didn't think it was. Oh my God. Now it's 70 minutes. All right, I'm going to go. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I haven't done a live. I didn't do a live for a whole week, spending time with my kids and things like this, riding our bikes places and to Blodell and up to the other beach park thing and just keeping busy and getting to appointments and taking care of all these cats and kittens. You guys think it's easy? I have Ginger on the same diet as Panda, and he looks better. You can actually see his flanks or whatever. Before he was, I mean, and I weighed them on my electrical scale. I don't know how I got all four of their legs to stand there still. It took 3 times, but I did it. And Panda was 100. Did I say 118? She was 18 pounds at the vet. And even getting down to 16 would be healthy for her. Um, I can't keep buying this food. It literally came to 96 this time instead of 70. This special, not perfect weight, but losing weight. It makes the cats feel fuller, and they get a measured out half a cup of dry. And I'll put a little bit of the meat juice on it because the veterinarian said I could give them meat, but I want them to lose weight. And it's weird. They'll eat part of this measly half a cup. Then for lunch, when I put them in their own separate rooms to eat, um, uh, and then I gotta feed the mama kitty and the kittens out together with their regular food and their meat. They eat a quarter of it. They don't mow it all down and have nothing at night. It's so bizarre. And so I feed them 3 times a day. And the kittens they're kind of thin. I don't know if it's because they're Maine Coon or what, but they eat 4 times a day. And I no longer just leave a bowl out. But the whole thing is like 20 minutes right there. Not counting laundry, not counting vacuuming, not counting emptying the dishwasher, not counting bringing garbage down, not counting taking my neighbor who's disabled her garbage down twice a week, not counting checking the mail, not counting riding my bike to appointments or the store, or when I buy a lot, taking a cab back, not counting um, having fun this summer and trying to do things and buy an iced coffee together and pumping the tires and making sure we had to get new brakes. My daughter's other bike, the Canon, before she got her e-scooter with her money, um, literally fell apart when I was carrying it to Jack's bicycle to get it fixed. The whole wheel came off the front. It was breaking apart. It was the weirdest thing. So I tossed it in the garbage. It was too old anyway. And the other one I had stolen here. So it's a lot. Just like it's a lot, right, to maintain your car and always have gas. But I'll tell you, you get places quicker. And on our way home today, forgot to tell Shaylin this. We're literally 5 blocks from home. We're at a 5-way section of cars and lights. And this asshole, when the light changed to 20 whole seconds to cross, and here we are at the crosswalk with our bikes. We're not even on them. We're standing there with them. What if we were just going to walk? This asshole turned right in front of my son. If he had hopped on his bike like fast to just speed across, he would have been hit. Just like that, right in front of me. It was a red car. It didn't give a crap that we had the right of way. And so I told Parker again, I said, that is why your head has to be on swivel. Swivel. You can't turn partially around when you're crossing the road. You can't assume no one's going to come down the alleyways, like, whatever. Because we're usually on the sidewalk, except in town. Because it's just, there's too much distracted drivers, you guys. And now everyone's doing their darn YouTubes while they're driving. And that pisses me off. It just does. And you shouldn't be driving and looking into any kind of camera thing. And it's just flat wrong. And people do it. Now, if they're driving and just talking into earbuds or something, that's one thing. But putting these things on the front of their cars and driving and talking and being slightly distracted, it pisses me off. And it also seems like people in their cars that can get places quicker are a lot more damn impatient than us bicyclists. So it's been a weird day, and now it's been even a weirder night. And I just don't hardly know what to think of anything. Hopefully Rose will appreciate what I said the other night. It's my live that says, fiddlesticks. Why can't things just be okay, Rose, and a breaking heart? I don't bash her in it. I get a little emotional. I say my piece. I talked about a couple other things. It was only 45 minutes, and I made it at 2 in the morning because I was so distressed at what she had said on her live about me. And she wrote those sweet, long messages the day before. So I don't know where I stand with her. Obviously not in a very good place if she can't even trust me to come up on her panel and say hi. And even some other people in her chat wanted me to go up. I wanted to explain the 282 thing, that I think it is, the truth seeker thing. And I wanted to just bring up the little story with both of my son's ears being completely blocked, which we had no clue, because he said he could only not hear out of one. And then I wanted to, hear about her life and ask her a couple of questions, not about trolls or people hurting her, just anything. I wanted to tell her how incredibly beautiful Maine is. Maine is beautiful. Her area of Maine, living that close to the water, I'm a mile from the bay. And you have to kind of go over no, I might be more like 2 miles, because you've got to go into town and then down to the end of town and then go over the railroad tracks, and then the bay's there. So we don't even get there very much. But all these other parks, Boulevard Park is a beautiful park. Maggie from the UK sent me a YouTube video that 2 men did when they visited there, but I don't think I can show it. She wanted me to do it on my live. I don't think I can show it because I'll probably get a darn copyright and have to go in the timeout chair for 14 darn days again. But it's beautiful, and Blow Del Donovan is beautiful. And I was shocked to hear there were 2 lifeguards up there today. Like, why today? Why not in July when Shaylin and I went there before, you know? So, anyway, enough of this. I'm going to go. Thank you, everybody. I'll see your comments and everything. You know, Rose, I don't know. I wish we could be friends and you would allow me to like or allow me to dislike or allow me to befriend or be friends with whomever I want to. Because in all honesty, you're allowing that to Maria G. You are. I've heard you say it. You know, it's really not very fair. And we need to treat other people how we would like to be treated. And this mob mentality crap on the internet, it's terrible. No wonder people unalive themselves. No wonder. I'm not going to. I can handle anything thrown my way. Anything. I can, and I have. Okay, good night.